Happy Thursday. What's going on, everybody? Listen, today's Thursday, and we got to be proactive. We got to be proactive. The reason why I say we got to be proactive because we don't want to get to a place that we get so far down that we can't come back up. So many of us is trying to chase a bag. So many of us are trying to chase some tail or somebody else's bag or whatever the case may be, and not realizing that we putting ourselves deeper and deeper in a hole. Meaning, like, you're not tapping into your existence. You're not appreciating your existence. You're not appreciating the trials and tribulations that you done been through, the different milestones that you have met, so forth and so on. So with that being said, like, we got to get to the point of going back to maybe the basics, or not even necessarily the basics, back to golly, I hate mosquitoes. Back to the point of us understanding who we are and what we are. I can't really just necessarily say that we know who we are, because the simple fact is, like, we have been taught lies for so many years. And with that being said, like, the lies that we have been taught or whatever, we just have to readjust to different experiences that we go through in life. You can't go by what somebody else went through. You can only go by what you went through or what you are going through. The different things that you will have understanding. You add, don't get me wrong, it adds to you and help you maneuver about learning from other people's mistakes or other people's decisions and stuff like that. But as far as not understanding how life's supposed to be lived or whatever the case may be, we just basically don't know. We just have to take the good with the bad and just, like, try to keep it moving and trying to stay motivated within ourselves and stop denouncing ourselves. So many of us in the black community, this is what we do. We denounce ourselves. We wake up denouncing ourselves. We say to the point that it's like we giving up or whatever. Not to the point that I'm going to fight. I'm going to get through this, or whatever the case may be. Understanding the different trials and tribulations that you go through in life. If you make a bad decision, you have to be accepting of the consequences that you the one that the trials that you created. So it's like, it's crazy that we don't realize that a lot of times we create discord in our lives, and then we want to get to the point and blame it on the devil, our mama, our daddy, maybe uncles, our jobs, or even just with different things that we're not dealing with. And we got to get out of that, because the simple fact is, accountability is basically, besides the point of experience, is the best teaching. Like, first of all, you got to go through stuff or whatever. But then some people say, well, why do we have to keep going through stuff? The reason why we have to keep going through stuff, because the simple fact is, we didn't learn it the first time. We didn't learn it this first time. And a lot of us are out here nurturing people and not even nurturing ourselves. And it's really sad that it's that way. We down here in Fort Lauderdale now, and it's crazy that how it's so bad that the governor, I don't know if they really just set it in stone within the point that the homeless people are being charged and have to go to jail because they are homeless. Now, we know the government, the system, or whatever you want to call it, is just full of bull crap. But with that being said, with them being full of bull crap, it's like we can't even come together, make a decision. We always look at the point of trying to denounce these people that are homeless, that done went through stuff, that done made bad decisions. Some of them aren't as strong as the others. Sometimes some people have been through some stuff that we would never even think about going through. Being addicted to drugs is a rough thing, or being addicted to something that you were experienced or exposed to at an early age, and you're trying to get it out of your system. Like, say for instance, if a young man being raped or a young girl being raped or whatever, sometimes it's hard to get that type of stuff out of your system, because the simple fact is, it was pushed and pressed and forced on you. Y'all ain't ready for that conversation because the simple fact is you're too closed up for the point of entertainment. I sit back and I look or whatever and I observe and I learn from other people's mistakes and like, oh hell no, I ain't finna do that. That's not what I'm finna do. So with that being said, like I learned from that and I try to get to the point of making better decisions for myself. Like, hey, have I screwed up? Yep. Will I continue to screw up? Yep. I will still make mistakes, but at the same time, or bad decision. A lot of times that a lot of us saying, oh, that was a mistake when it was a bad decision. And not realizing that, hey, listen, those bad decisions that we created, we got to be able to suffer the consequences or be able to, what they say in the Bible, God, I can't even think of it. You know, what you plant a seed or whatever, you got to expect for whatever that you planted. That's the result of the situation, excuse me. But people don't realize that a lot of times that this is what we do. Like, say for instance, the different foods that we eat. We wonder why we have high blood pressure. Okay, well damn, you just ate all that spicy food and stuff like that. If you fast or whatever, then maybe that'll kind of help the situation. A lot of times when we go to the doctor and we get to the point that it's uncontrollable, guess what? That when we go to the hospital, they put us on a liquid diet. But you could have did that before. You could have stopped creating a bill by going to the hospital or the emergency room, by going on a liquid diet or whatever. Like when my body get to the point that I can't adjust or come in center as one, that's what I would do or whatever. Because the simple fact is, like, we've been taught to eat recklessly for a long period of time or whatever. And me myself, I'm an emotional eater. I can admit that, because the simple fact is, it's no excuse for the emotional eating, because it's still the decision. But sometimes, like, when things that you don't have no control of, guess what? It's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? That's just like it is with drugs or sex or anything else that we decide to do. Anything that entertain us to get us to not be focusing on the point of the things that we can't do nothing about. Like, no, we can't change other people's behavior. We can't change how people act towards us or whatever the case may be, but it's all still up to us what we decide that we're going to do. They're just plain and simple. A lot of us are so lost that we just don't know if we're going or coming or whatever. But back to the point that, like, how the government allowed the homeless people, it's like it's a crime now. And last night we moved over the truck over there by Planet Fitness or whatever. My husband had came back to go check on the truck, right? So one of the homeless guys, he was laid up under the trailer. Like, they get a piece of cardboard and they lay it down on the ground to keep them, from the ground or the cement and stuff like that there. But then, like, why not create a place for these people to stay at or whatever? I guess that's one reason why I ain't never won the lottery, because I done gave all my damn money away or whatever the case may be. So with that being said, it's like, it's crazy. We don't even think about people and what they going through, another person is going through, because a lot of times we are so focused on ourselves. But, regardless of what, that's just life, I guess, or whatever. But it's not really life. It's just the point about decision. It's okay to enjoy life. It's okay to smile and be happy. It's okay to be able to help one another and stop looking down on each other. A lot of us been taught to the point that, hey, you don't supposed to judge one another. Like, that's the stupidest shit in the world, because you got to judge in order to make a decision. I try to tell people that a lot on my podcast. If you decide to listen to it, you'll be able to hear a lot of knowledge and understanding, because I'm an old school type of woman, regardless of what. I'm old school. I learn from older people. I learn from young people, my grandkids and other folks' kids. I learn from it, because the simple fact is, that type of thing I apply to my life. Because anything that we go through in life, it's an experience or whatever, but you learn from those experiences. You learn from those experiences. I'm not going to attach myself to the point of saying, well, hey, I'm not going to acknowledge that. Like me, I stopped going to church and following all of that with the point of religion, because the simple fact is, it wasn't doing nothing. It wasn't doing nothing for me. I had to start tapping in on me. I'm not saying for y'all to do that or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying what works for me. So with that being said, like, regardless of what, if you don't know who you are and you don't center yourself, then you'll be out here like a wild goose. Some of these goose that be on the road that's round up in this area, some of them, they get to fighting and acting the fool or whatever the case may be, because they is like scrunging, trying to get one ahead of the other instead of them following each other to try to get to their destination. Then you wind up somebody get hit because they done got in the middle of the road or something like that. That's just how humans are in life. Like, we get to the point we get off our grid. We don't understand a lot of different things or whatever because we denounce ourselves. We demote ourselves. We don't talk to ourselves because we were taught, hey, don't talk to yourself, because if you talk to yourself, that means that you're crazy. Like, listen, why do you think the universe, God, whoever that created us or whatever, allow us to have a mind? If you got a mind, use your mind. Don't let somebody else conjugate or tell you how you should feel or what you should feel or whatever. You know what your experience is. A lot of times our thoughts and stuff be telling us certain things, but we'll do something totally different. We don't even think about it. We'll do something totally different. Our mind will say one thing or whatever. Our body will tell us to do something else instead of us aligning what it is that we supposed to do. We'll get so caught up off on other things or whatever. And it's just crazy. Instead of us aligning ourselves, I want my spirit as well as my flesh to be able to be aligned so I can make good decisions. A lot of us don't think about that. We just going to the point, you know, we can't be following our flesh because the simple fact is, that's the devil, the flesh we want you to do. I'm gonna tell you something. If you understand spirituality or whatever the case may be, the flesh is part of you. That's just something for you guys to think about. Notice and understand different things that's going on and like observe things. I don't get caught up in a lot of different things that goes on and what other people be doing or whatever. Yeah, true enough, you do stuff for downtime. I read as much as I can or whatever. I write. I love to write. I love to fix things or whatever the case. Anything that try to empowers me for me to be able to learn and do different things or whatever. Hey, I'm not scared to try new things or whatever when it comes down to anything that empowers me. That's just plain and simple. That, hey, that might not be for everybody else. They say, oh, you a tomboy, you like to do this and you like to do that. Oh well, I don't like to have to ask people to do shit for me or whatever the case may be. So why not learn and try to do things for yourself? Just like case in point, like whenever something going on with my truck, I go to YouTube. And this is what I do. I go to YouTube and try to get some type of understanding. I don't just go by one person. I go by all different people. I look down and see what other people say about it. And hey, that's what it is. So whenever I go and get my truck fixed on or whatever, then I don't have to worry about them giving me no fuckery. Case in point, probably about last year, my AC had done went out. We done did everything in the world to try to fix that AC. But it was just like the door jam that was messed up or something like that there with the door opening and closing to allow the thing for it to cool us off. And I mean, like, it was kind of like hot last year, and I was like, man, I'm so sick of this. I'm about all these parts and this and that they're trying to see or whatever. So when I got to the shop, the guy was like, oh, I had took it to several shots. Matter of fact, it's gonna be so much money. We got to take the dash out, we got to do this and do that or whatever the case may be. And I'm the type of person that if somebody done worked on my truck before, I try to go by to the point of how they work and what they do and how long the work has lasted. So that was at a Love's or whatever the case may be in St. Louis. Then I went to the one that was in Ozark. I done went to the one that was in Lake City. When I go to the one that's in Lake City, guess what? This dude, they take their time. They old school workers, mechanics, and it was like, man, this right here. And the man said they don't take that in, but gonna take about 5 or 10 minutes. I seen that on YouTube or whatever the case may be, and I was like, hey, what if I take the screw out and I mess the thing up or whatever? So that's why I took it to the guy. So I took it to the guy that was in Lake City or whatever. I bought the part, he put it in the damn AC, started working. That's why you have to research certain things. You can't just go by one person experience. You can't necessarily go by one person experience. I could say that twice. The reason why that's being said, because the simple fact is there's always somebody out there that could do things a little bit better or do things a little bit different than you. That's why there's no such thing as perfect, because the simple fact is it works. Whatever works at that particular time, it works. That's what you go by. You know, your experience in life or whatever. So when it got here in 15 minutes, next thing you know, we got AC. Woohoo! I was just so happy. And that's how it is in life. You kids can't go by just one person experience. You don't know. You know, and so many different people go to the point of the Bible and how they had going on. And don't get me wrong, you know, you take what you learn from the Bible or whatever the case may be, or any book. Like, I don't just go by just the Bible and those people's experiences. I go by my own experience. Like, listen, if they done told me not to cross the road whenever the light red or whatever, then that's, hey, I'm not gonna cross the road when the light red, because then that ain't letting the other people know that they need to stop because I'm finna cross the road. Like, we just get to the point that we get so off grid and not understanding, denouncing ourselves. Oh, woe is me. I don't know what I'm gonna do. This here and that there. My children, they so hard-headed, and they don't want to do what I'm telling them to do or whatever. You can't make people do nothing. You can't make people do nothing. You can suggest that they do. That's even down to kids. I had to learn that the hard way. You can't make nobody else do something that they don't want to do. Eventually, they might do it for a little while, but then they'll just back to the point of what they want to do. So you fix you, and people absorb and do what they need to do in order to help themselves. And if it helps you, then by all means, just keep doing it. That's just life, period. Like, we get so caught up on so much stuff till we don't even know what's going on. We really don't know what's going on. Some people get caught up in the point of what's going on in the news and stuff. I tell people all the time, I just give less of a damn. I don't care. It don't matter to me, because I'm not worried about what they did in Israel, and I'm not worried about what they did in other things. Yeah, true enough, it's not right how people are being treated. But what about the people that's over here? A lot of folks is homeless. Some people can't pay their mortgage. Some people can't pay their rent. Some people can't pay a lot of their light bill or water bill and stuff like that. Like, come on, let it make sense. Every time you go somewhere to the store, did you like to give money to the Palestine such and such or whatever? No, hell no. No, What about the people down the street that's sleeping up on the bridges and stuff, or out in the woods and ain't got no food to eat? Then you got to go to the point of going and give defects all your information just for a few food stamps and stuff like that there. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, think about the logic of the realistic of how things is. We just get so lost and we just go with it. Like, why is it that at some places they have pantries for people to go and be able to drop foods off in each city or whatever the case might be, and then some places don't? Why some places have homeless shelters and then some places don't? The little small town that I live in is called Donaldsonville, that I grew up in, is Donaldsonville, Georgia. Okay, with that being said, Donaldsonville, Georgia, I don't know, not no place for nobody to go, and if they ain't got a place to stay. Yeah, true enough, you can call family, friends, or whatever. Sometimes they act so bougie you can't call them, because then get what? They be done talked about you and drug you so bad to you, like, damn, I might well just sleep out there in the middle of the road. So with that being said, that's how a lot of these homeless people, they be thinking like, hey, listen, I'd rather be homeless than to go through the point of them ridiculing me because I made a bad decision. I used to do the same thing. I used to ridicule people by the point about being on drugs and stuff like that there, whatever the case might be, or they not making a good decision, or if they sleeping with this person and that person, and whatever the case might be. Hey, that's your decision. That's your own demise or whatever that you created. I just give you positive energy for you to make a good decision. A lot of times we ask for people, oh, pray for me. Unspoken prayer requests. Hey, tell people what the hell it is, or whatever. If you don't want to tell people what it is, then don't ask for no prayer. Prayer should be to the point of people telling people, hey, listen, don't do this. This is what it's going to cause. That's just plain and simple. Like, telling people, encouraging people not to do this, not to smoke, not to get out here doing all these different drugs and stuff like that. Some people be down here in Fort Lauderdale, in St. Louis, where they be scratching and itching so bad and messed up, or